Hi, you are watching Zoom. I am Nirali in conversation with one of the most celebrated and loved voices of our music industry, someone who has delivered timeless melodies over the years. It's my pleasure to have Padma Shri Adnan Sami with me, welcoming you for exclusive conversation, sir.
Thank you very much.
Firstly, I would like to say I watched Ishq Tamasha and I loved every bit of it.
Thank you.
Right from the fact that you are not just singing the track, but you are expressing. You just let yourself loose, while you were crooning the track. And of course, dance is a very important aspect of the track. I want to take you back to the time. When did the idea of working on Ishq Tamasha come across your mind?
Well, actually, it was a thought that came into my mind for quite some time. Because, if you look at it from another aspect, we as a society or people, we very often we love stories.
Yeah.
Whether it is Romeo and Juliet, whether it is Heer Ranja or Sasi Puno or Laila Majnu, and whether it's in movies like Devdas or even the story Devdas, or even a Titanic or Avatar, which is also a romantic story, and we all love them,
Right.
But when somebody falls in love, in reality, and we see that kind of intensity or even half of that intensity, we make fun of them. In the sense that we say, अरे क्या ये देवदास बन रहा है, क्या नाटक कर रहा है लड़की के पीछे या लड़के के पीछे, मतलब कि क्या ड्रामेबाजी हो रही है, क्या नाटक हो रहा है, क्या तमाशा कर रहा है. तो हम उन्हीं लोगों का हम मजाक उड़ाते हैं. We make fun of them. We actually mock them, in many ways. And that's a hypocrisy if you look at it. We don't celebrate it the way we celebrate these wonderful stories, and so that's what this song is about. That and I've been through that too. I mean, in my sort of growing years, I fell in love with someone and I was absolutely crazy about that. And I said, "Kya matlab ki natak kar raha hai?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So people used to make fun of me as well, and it happens to everybody, to a lot of people, I would say. So the thing was that I wanted to make a song about that. कि मतलब कि एक इंसान है, उसको इतना इश्क हो गया है और इतना he's so madly in love with someone that he's actually afraid. He's afraid of the society कि कहीं से लोग ये ना बोलना शुरू कर दें कि मैंने अपने आप को एक तमाशा बना के रख दिया है. I don't want people to think of me in that way.
In that regard.
So and this is a song, and so therefore a lot of people can relate to that. तो ये गाना जो था, इसकी बुनियाद ये थी.
Yeah.
और इसमें यही आगे जाके वो ये भी कहता है ना, वो कहता है कि मैं तुम्हारे लिए लड़ने के लिए तैयार हूँ. उसमें उस लड़ाई में कहीं पे मेरी जीत भी होगी, कहीं पे मेरी हार भी होगी, लेकिन मैं तुम्हारे लिए लड़ना बंद नहीं करूँगा. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that is the intensity of the love, but he's afraid. He's afraid that he might get labeled as a madman or somebody who's crazy.
In love.
Right. In love and crazy and completely sort of he's lost logic and all that, and people look down on him. He doesn't want that. And that is something that happens to a lot of people, And, they turn around, the way people do, "Arey, stop crying over this girl, there are many fish in the ocean." The people talk like that, And that's a very dismissive way of talking, and I don't like that. I mean, you need to be sensitive towards somebody's feelings. And don't just dismiss them like that, because it can happen to anybody. And if somebody is in love with someone, respect that.
Yeah.
And so that is basically from where this emotion came, and that's why I felt that I wanted to write a song about it.
That's wonderful, sir. So every song, when it comes to every song, there is one line or say one moment that is very close to every musician's heart. When it comes to Ishq Tamasha, which is that aspect, one particular aspect that means a lot to you?
the actual breakout, when I suddenly break out and say, Ishq Tamasha, you know, that is the moment, because you see he's building up. अगर आप गाने को सुनते हो ना, तो he's pretty calm, because he's trying to sort of, he's calm and he's singing it in a very low pitch and volume, you know. लेकिन उसके अंदर जो जज्बात है वो आग की तरह जल रहे हैं, और वो कहीं ना कहीं पे जाके he explodes. He explodes, and that's when he says Ishq Tamasha. That is probably my favorite part of the song, because that's when the emotion becomes raw.
Yeah, initially there's a gradual build up, and there's one moment where he just explodes.
Da 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 Ishq Tamasha. You know, so it's like वो अपने आप को कंट्रोल भी
बॉटल अप करके रखा है,
हाँ बॉटल करके रखा हुआ है. अच्छा, वो करने के बाद फिर एकदम फिर काम हो जाता है, एकदम quiet. And then he's trying to logically speak again, but then he can't hold it back. Again he sort of explodes. तो ये एक जज्बात है जो उसके अंदर है. तो that's the part I like.
But sir, did you face any particular challenges while creating this track? And what was the most exciting part for you to work on Ishq Tamasha?
I think when I was creating the music, you know, क्योंकि मैं इसको 2-3 डायरेक्शंस में ले जा सकता था, लेकिन फिर मैंने उसको जो फाइनल जो आपने सुना है, मैंने फिर उसी को लॉक किया. लेकिन द पॉइंट वाज कि when I was composing it, I had a different kind of an arrangement in my mind. लेकिन जब गाना कंपोज हो गया तो फिर then I wanted to work on, then I started working on the arrangement of the song. And in that I was conflicted. Well, on one hand I wanted to take it to the zone of, let's say, a bit of a Western classical zone, where, you know, with the piano and so on and so forth and all that. And then there was a side of me that said, no, I need to explode. And so I need to bring in that, because I love rock music as well, I love metal and all of that. I said, I need to bring that element in here to express my my outrage and the feeling that is in there. So then I brought in the guitars and the distortion guitars, and so then I was able to create a kind of a balance in the arrangement, and I had a great time doing it. I mean, so I think that, I mean, I love producing and I love arrangements, because you can take one song and you can give it so many interpretations, you know. Truly. Like even my last song, Lipstick. I did Lipstick in a very sort of you know, peppy zone, and then I did it in a ballad zone. And both have their own you know, followers, you know, and the melody was the same. And the melody just allowed me to suddenly make it into a ballad, which nobody saw coming. And also there was a peppy version of it, which was very sort of EDM and all of that. So, you know, I many a times have that conflict in my mind कि मैं किस डायरेक्शन में जाऊँ. तो वो मुझे कभी-कभी थोड़ा सा फिर मैं खुद भी कंफ्यूज हो जाता हूँ. But it's such an exciting process that I really enjoy going through that. And so I really enjoyed doing this.
That's great, sir. But sir, after all these years, when you set out to work on a new song, what still excites you? What still challenges you? And what makes you push your boundaries as an artist?
You know, I'll tell you something. For all the years that I may have, whether it is in my career or whether it is in my age, when I am in front of my piano and in my music environment, I'm a kid. And I'm like a kid in a candy store. And I am as excited about discovering something, whether it's a composition or whether it's anything that I've done, as I was when I first started. So there's something about music and the whole process that makes me feel like a child every time I sit in front of the piano, because I I just find it so amazing that I'm still able to discover something new after all these years. And so I approach every song as if it's the first time that I'm doing it, and with the same kind of excitement and the same kind of enthusiasm to want to explore. I the last thing I can ever think of is going into any form of formula.
Yeah.
There is no formula as far as I'm concerned. So therefore, every time I sort of approach a song or an arrangement or anything of that sort, it is with great enthusiasm, and every time feels as if it's the first time. And the enthusiasm is like that, as if I'm doing it for the first time. And the attitude also is like that. It's nowhere do I feel, "Arey, maine to kar liya," you know. I don't have that attitude.
You have that fresh or beginner attitude.
A beginner attitude, and also, don't get me wrong, I have the insecurity. Will I be able to do it or not? I mean, I have that even in concerts. People turn around and say, I've been performing since the age of 7. And they're saying, you must be very much at home. I still get nervous before I go on stage. But yes, once I'm on stage, I feel as if I'm at home.
Right.
You know, once those initial butterflies go away.
Correct.
But the thing is that initial, before going on stage, I still feel nervous. And I think that's a good thing. Because you should never take your work for granted. You should never take it as routine. And I'm very grateful to God that I've got that attitude, where even today, every time I sit down to make music, it's as if the first time, and the insecurities are there, that I hope people like it. You know, so there's never ever that kind of. I find that to be very dangerous if you suddenly become too complacent. I think complacency is death for art. You need to constantly evolve and keep on challenging yourself to get into an uncomfortable state.
But one can certainly say that music is something that has kept the child in you alive, right?
Yeah.
But sir, when you started off your journey, I'm sure you must have had your own challenges. But today, at this juncture in your career, when you look back at the years that you have spent creating music, which moments do you personally feel have been your highest highs, and the ones that have been the lowest lows of your career?
You know, I think one of the biggest highs that I had, one of them was when I discovered when I discovered the possibility of playing Indian classical music on the piano, because nobody had done that before, and to be able to pioneer that, and to be able to do that, and to discover that it is possible while nobody had done it before, was something that was a revelation for me. And it was a real breakout moment for me, because I suddenly discovered something new, you know, which nobody had discovered before. So that was a big, huge moment for me. Then when I released my first album in India, that was a big moment for me. And you know, so I've had many incredible moments in my creative life where I've done all kinds of, you know, I've discovered things about myself. And you know, they've been like you say, that there've been hits and there've been misses, you know. So I mean, there have been moments where I thought, for example, that you know, maybe a composition of mine would will work, and it didn't work, you know. And then there have been moments when I gave a composition, didn't really mentally agree with it, and suddenly that became a hit. And you know, so you know, you live and learn, you know.
Truly, sir. But sir, of course, in your entire music career, you have earned a lot of love from fans. You have had commercial success. But the moment, the time you were honored with Padma Shri, did that recognition feel different for you?
Oh yes, absolutely. It was I mean, there are no two ways about the fact that it's such an incredible honor, because you see, a Padma Shri is not just for one piece of work. It's honoring your journey
And your contribution.
and your contribution and your body of work and what all you've done in your life till that period. And it is honoring that, recognizing that, and celebrating that, and acknowledging that with appreciation, and with it comes a tremendous sense of responsibility also for the future. And you know, having that kind of a, as opposed to any other kind of award that you get, you know, for one piece of work,
Yeah.
you know, for that year. You know what I mean? So this is a, it's like a getting an acknowledgement for all your work and body of work till the period on which you've been acknowledged. So that was a huge honor, because it sort of signified everything that that I had, you know, worked hard to get, and it felt the world to me, and I'm sort of eternally grateful that I was recognized for that and honored with that, and it's one of the most special moments in my life.
Yeah, definitely. So, in the last few years, we have also seen, you know, there has been a wave of recreated versions of the classic songs. So, how do you view at this trend, at this wave that has been going on since the last couple of years?
Well, you know, honestly speaking, it's not a new phenomenon, you know, in the sense that what you call recreated, you see, terms keep changing.
Yeah.
It's not as if such things didn't exist in the past. For example, I mean, you know, people started using a word called item song.
Yeah.
As if it was a new phenomena. It wasn't. I mean, in the past, they always had item songs, except they used to call it cabaret songs.
Yeah.
You know, today they call it a collab. In the past, they also had that, but they used to call it a duet.
Yeah.
You know, so similarly, what you call recreate used to be called a remix. So there were many remixes that happened in the 90s, as well as you know, in the early 2000s. Now you've given it a new word called recreate. I mean, the point is that today, you see, I have no issues with remixes or recreations, provided you give due credit to the original creators. I mean, what I find wrong is that many a times people recreate or remix or whatever you want to call it. I personally think recreate is a better word than remix, as far as terminologies are concerned. But I think that, you know, a certain protocol should be maintained, that the originators, the original composers or writers of a particular song should be acknowledged in it, and that many a times does not happen. And there's no, I mean, you see, in the West, they've been doing it for the longest period. I mean, for example, you know, Frank Sinatra's My Way was sung by 20 other singers. You know, Elvis sang it, you know, Dean Martin sang it, and XYZ, so many other people sang it. But they gave due credit to whomsoever it was originated from. They were just credited as being the singer of that. You know, a song like Sway. You know, that song has been done by so many people. The original is actually an Italian version. You know, so but they gave credit. I mean, today people know it as a Dean Martin song, but actually it's not even Dean Martin. It was for Dean Martin. It was a recreation of an Italian song, and so but they gave credit to that. You know,
so credit was given.
Credit was given now. But the point is that, you know, when you look back in time, like I said, remix or you know, recreations are not new phenomena. Even before this word came into these words came into existence, people were already doing it. It was called copy. You know,
long ago.
You know, and you know, I mean, you have so many songs. Itna tu mujhse pyar na badha. You know that? You know, now that song is Mozart, 41st Symphony. So I mean, the thing is, there's so many songs that from the past. I mean, Chura Liya Hai Tumne Jo Dil Ko is an English song. Mehbooba Mehbooba is Demis Rousseau's.
Yeah.
Do you love me, love me, love me? That's the original. But credits were not given.
Yeah.
So it's not a new phenomenon, they don't do it. So I have no problems. By all means, music should, why not? Celebrate the good music, bring it into Hindi language or create somebody else's. But give the credit to the originator. I mean, what's wrong with that?
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't make you any less.
True.
You know what I mean? It doesn't make you any less. In fact, people will appreciate कि यार ये गाना जो था उसको वहाँ से लेके इसने ये बना दिया, वाह क्या बात है, उसने एक अलग किस्म
The perspective will change.
हाँ कि लोग बोलेंगे कि यार मतलब कि उसने तो ऐसे बनाया लेकिन तुमने इसके ऊपर चार चांद लगा के एक अलग किस्म का अंदाज में एक अलग किस्म के अंदाज में तुमने पेश कर दिया, ये बड़ी अच्छी बात है. लेकिन तो आपको अपनी क्रिएटिविटी का क्रेडिट मिलेगा लेकिन किसी और की मेहनत को तो मत चुराओ.
Right.
So that is what my only issue with it. So sometimes you see, वो कहते हैं ना कि what is most important is your intention.
Yeah.
What is the intention behind your recreation? I mean, sometimes people are doing it because they just want to play safe. नहीं यार, वो गाना जो था ना वो already hit गाना है. Let's play safe. इसी को क्या कहते हैं नए arrangement में ले आते. ऑलरेडी सुपर हिट गाना है, ये भी सुपर हिट हो जाएगा, हमारा काम हो गया.
Because nostalgic value.
क्योंकि nostalgic value आ जाएगी, फलाना, all that. They'll justify it in that kind of a way. And so basically, the thought process behind it is not creativity. It's to play safe. That I don't agree with.
Yeah.
That means you don't have confidence in the ability of today's composer.
Yeah.
Because you are too scared to take a chance on a new composition. That is the wrong reason for recreating. Because then you won't progress. You need to have a bit of guts to progress.
Right.
And take those chances which other people in the past did. You see, if let's say for example, okay, I mean, if let's say an R.D. Burman, for example, took Mehbooba and made it into Demis Rousseau's song and made it into Mehbooba. It doesn't, I mean, and okay, I might have issues, or many people would have issues that you did not give due credit to the originator. But you can't deny that R.D. Burman is a mind-blowing composer and a path-breaking composer, because there are so many compositions of his that have stood the test of time and they're evergreen, and he was a genius.
Completely.
Right? Because he did take those chances of making new compositions and great compositions, and there were people willing to back him up on it. If Sholay, for example, had one Mehbooba, it had 10 other songs that were original.
True.
So okay, he did one of those songs, which is okay. I mean, the point is there's nothing wrong in doing recreating songs, but give the credit, and then also keep the balance by bringing in new songs, so that's how music will evolve.
Yeah.
But if you just keep recreating, ये अस्ताई जो है, ये मुखड़ा जो है वो उस गाने का ले लेना, अंतरा जो है वो उस गाने का ले लेना, फिर सुपर हिट हो जाएगा. That is the wrong attitude.
Originality has to be.
Of course, you
constant
have to have originality. You have to have it. So I mean, that is what I emphasize on.
Yeah. So, and you have been one of the artists who have had the fortune to have known and closely worked with Asha Bhosle ji. Beyond the legendary singer that the world knew, how was ma'am as a person, and what was the kind of impact that she had on you?
She was an extraordinarily simple person, and she was what she was on the face. She didn't put on any facade. She was a very passionate person. She was very emotional. If she didn't like something, she would say it, and she was very childlike in that sense. She would turn around and वो डांट भी देती थी, और फिर 2 मिनट डांटने के बाद 2 मिनट के बाद वो she would feel guilty also, and then she would say, देखो बुरा तो नहीं माना, मैं ऐसे ही हूँ. मैंने कहा मुझे पता है आप ऐसे ही हो. तो वो मुझे डांट देती थी like a mother would. She was like a mother to me.
Yeah.
And so apart from music, my relationship with her was like a mother and son. And there were many lessons that she taught me apart from music about life. She had so much of wisdom to share. And she was full of love, and she was very protective also. And very like I said, she was very simple and very childlike also. If you didn't meet her, or if I didn't call her for a while, and I called her after a big gap, she would be angry with me, and she would be upset with me. अच्छा याद आ गई, याद आ गई, मतलब कि किस लिए याद आई, you know, आई क्यों नहीं, you know, all of those things, and I would say, all right, okay, fine, आपने जो मुझे कहना है अभी कह दीजिए, आप अपनी भड़ास निकाल दीजिए. तो, you know, and then after that, when she was done, and I would quietly listen, you know, and I'd say, बस हो गया, हाँ, निकल गई सारी. She would say it also.
Yeah.
And then she would remind me, याद है ना तुम्हें जब रात के 12 बजे आते थे, मैं पराठा बना के क्या कहते हैं अंडा खिलाती थी तुम्हें, मत भूलना इस चीज को. मैंने कहा जी मैं नहीं भूलूंगा. So, you know, that was love.
Yeah.
So she was a very loving person. And I mean, as an artist, तो क्या कहने, मतलब कि, you know, I mean, what can I say that has not been said?
Correct.
और क्या कहते हैं,
Words will always fall short
of
to
course,
describe
सूरज
the
को
kind of.
चिराग दिखाने वाली बात है. I mean, आप उनकी गायकी के बारे में तो she was untouchable. She was incredible. You know, the interesting thing about her as a singer was that many a times she would, before hitting the microphone, she would be very insecure and very sort of, you know, nervous. But the moment she came in front of the microphone, this other person came out. She was like a monster in front of the mic. And it was like, you know, you could throw anything at me. I can take it. And I will chew it up and throw it back at you, and you won't know what hit you. And she was like that. She would, you know, if there was a particular line, she would sing it in 10 different ways. ऐसे किस तरह, मैं ऐसे भी गा सकती हूँ, ऐसे भी गा सकती हूँ, ऐसे भी बताओ कौन सा चाहिए तुम्हें. And you're like, oh my God.
What do I choose?
What do I choose? And you feel greedy. You feel like a kid in a candy store. मुझे ये भी चाहिए, मुझे ये भी चाहिए, मुझे ये भी चाहिए, मुझे तो मैंने तो सोचा भी नहीं कि ये ऐसे भी हो सकता है. She would do that, which was incredible, you know. And thank God for you know, that we came into a technology where, you know, you could record many different versions and then decide later on in the edit कि मैं ये यहाँ पे रख दूँगा, ये उधर रख दूँगा, ये उधर रख दूँगा, you know. So you know, so she was, I mean, she actually spoiled a music composer, because आप जब उनके साथ रिकॉर्डिंग करते थे और उनके साथ जब रिकॉर्ड करते थे तो वो आपको इतनी वैरायटी दे देती थी कि आप बिगड़ जाते थे, क्योंकि आपको उस चीज़ की आदत पड़ जाती थी
कि इतने सारे ऑप्शंस
हैं,
हैं,
क्योंकि आपको उस तरह के ऑप्शंस किसी और से नहीं मिलते थे. तो she would spoil you with choice, you know, which you would never get from other people, honestly. And she understood the aesthetics and the mechanics of a popular song and what expression it required, and she would nail it right there. There would be times when she would interpret a particular melody or song in a manner that even you didn't think of as a composer, and then you suddenly say, oh, अच्छा, हाँ ऐसे भी हो सकता है. Wow, why didn't I think of that? She used to do that. Incredible. Incredible.
And so, final question, you know, you have often spoken about your love for India. I want to take you back to the first moment when you felt that, you know, the Indian audience accepted you wholeheartedly along with your music.
That was in 2000 when my first song came out, Kabhi To Nazar Milao. I mean, the way the Indian audience embraced me and literally hugged me with their love was something that I could have not imagined with that kind of intensity ever before, you know. So it was something that I was mentally not even prepared for, and it was something that was very overwhelming. And that love affair has been there ever since that time. And you know, that is a very special bond for me. It literally gave me a new life.
But thank you so much, sir, for doing this conversation.
Thank you, my
pleasure. It was lovely speaking with you, and I hope the kind of love affair that started in 2000 continues with Ishq Tamasha as well.
Thank you very much.
Thanks
Thank you. It was a pleasure. Thank you.